film begins with a group of children watching Teletubbies in the Scottish Highlands. Outside, grown-ups are shouting and arguing, making the kids uneasy. Suddenly, a terrified woman rushes in, quickly leaves a little girl inside, and sternly warns them not to go out. Soon after, the children hear unsettling noises outside the room, filling them with dread. A frightened boy named Jimmy approaches the door, calling for his parents. Then, without warning, zombies burst through the door and attack the children. Jimmy bursts out of the room and spots his mother, who frantically tells him to run before being attacked by a zombie. Horrified, Jimmy looks around to see total chaos, infected people viciously assaulting everyone in sight. We then learn a lethal virus known as Rage has swept through the UK. It was eliminated on the European mainland, but Britain was placed under quarantine, leaving the remaining survivors to fend for themselves. The story jumps ahead 28 years to a small island in England where a community has built defenses and learned to survive. They craft their own weapons and sometimes risk dangerous supply runs. Here we meet Spike, a 12-year-old boy, woken by his father, Jamie, who reminds him that today is important. As Jamie cooks breakfast, they go over the expedition checklist. Eggs and bacon, a rare treat, are on the table. Moments later, a crash sounds upstairs. Spike's mother, Isla, has dropped a glass in her bedroom. Jamie rushes to her, Spike following close behind. Isla looks pale and frail from an unknown illness. She asks Spike about school, but he admits he didn't go. Jamie explains he'll be joining today's mainland trip, which sparks Isla's anger over the danger he'll face. Spike manages to calm her, even offering her the bacon he saved, before saying goodbye and pretending he's off to class. Downstairs, neighbor Sam gives Spike his first bow. Father and son set off, receiving cheers from the village committee for Spike's first expedition. At the main gate, a villager warns him of the rules. If he doesn't return, no one will search for him, and points out crosses marking those who never made it back. With the tide low, the stone causeway is clear, and they cross to the mainland. Hours later, they enter a forest and encounter a sluggish, worm-like zombie. Jamie instructs Spike to aim for the neck. The boy succeeds, but the noise draws more infected. Jamie dispatches them with ease, though he hesitates upon seeing an infected child, letting it slip away. Praising Spike's first kill, they continue on, discovering an abandoned house. Inside, they find a man hanging upside down with Jimmy carved into his chest. The man, still alive, thrashes and growls like the infected. Jamie explains he was likely left as punishment by other survivors, then orders Spike to kill him. After initial hesitation, the boy complies. Moving on, they spot a deer carcass and another deer's head high in a tree, a sure sign of an alpha zombie nearby. Panic sets in as a horde led by the alpha charges. Jamie fights them off, but Spike misses most shots. They retreat to the abandoned house and hide in the attic just in time. Back on the island, preparations for Spike's welcome party begin, while the alpha watches the house from a hill. Jamie warns that alphas are stronger, smarter, and much harder to kill. Out of arrows and with the tide high, they're trapped until morning. That night, Spike notices a distant bonfire, but Jamie claims ignorance. Around midnight, the house starts to collapse. They escape just before it falls, knowing the noise will attract zombies. With the tide now low, they rush for home, but the alpha spots them. Villagers fire arrows, but only a flaming shot finally takes him down. After confirming they're uninfected, Jamie and Spike are let in. That night, the village celebrates Spike's bravery. Jamie exaggerates his son's kills, and Spike is even pressured to drink. Outside, he vomits, then sees Jamie sneaking off with another woman, feeling sorry for Isla. Back home, Spike wakes Sam, who's caring for her, and reveals Jamie's lies, including the bonfire sighting. Sam suspects it might be Dr. Ian Kelson, thought to be dead. Spike realizes Jamie hid the truth, claiming no doctors remain to help Isla. The next day, Spike confronts Jamie, who admits Kelson is alive but calls him insane. Years ago, Kelson was seen arranging corpses in eerie patterns. No one's dared return in 15 years. Still, Spike insists on finding him, sparking a fierce argument. Jamie slaps his son, who runs to Isla. When Jamie follows, Spike shoves him out, even threatening him with a knife before handing it back. Later, Spike sets fire to the village barn and, amid the chaos, sneaks Isla away. She realizes they're on the mainland and panics, but Spike assures her they're seeking a doctor. They shelter in an old tower for the night. While Spike sleeps, a zombie crawls toward him, but the next morning it's dead. Isla killed it without remembering. Meanwhile, soldiers are ambushed by an alpha-led horde. Many are killed and turned. One survivor escapes. Nearby, infected gather at a river, including a pregnant female. Isla grows weaker, hallucinates, and suffers nosebleeds. When a zombie approaches, Spike kills it, but the noise draws more, forcing them into a gas station. Fumes choke the air, and zombies rush in, until the lone soldier, Eric, rescues them with fire. Eric, a stranded Swedish Navy man, carries Isla and warns the island is quarantined with no escape. Hearing screams, Isla finds the pregnant infected in an abandoned train and helps her give birth. But the mother attacks and Eric kills her. He then insists the baby must die, believing it infected. Isla refuses, when suddenly the Alpha decapitates Eric. Before the Alpha can strike them, an old man tranquilizes it, Dr. Kelson. He leads them to his camp, where he's built a macabre bone temple of skulls. Kelson confirms the baby is healthy, protected in the womb. Spike explains Isla's illness, and Kelson diagnoses terminal cancer. Spike begs for a cure, but Isla accepts the truth, asking only for peace. Kelson tranquilizes Spike, explaining memento mori, death should be peaceful. Isla hugs Spike goodbye, then Kelson euthanizes her. Spike later places her skull atop the bone temple. The next morning, Samson returns, breaking into their shelter. Spike sedates him, saving Kelson, who tells him to go home with the baby. 28 days later, the village finds the infant at the gate with Spike's note. He's not returning yet. The baby's name is Isla, and Jamie should care for her. Jamie runs to the causeway, but the rising tide stops him. Elsewhere, Spike kills an infected with one shot, but is chased by a horde. A blonde man in a tracksuit appears, his team taking down the zombies with ease. He introduces himself as Jimmy, the same boy from the film's opening, and suggests they be friends, hinting at a new beginning. That's 28 years later, a chilling return to the world of the rage virus, packed with new horrors, emotional twists, and the promise of an even darker trilogy ahead. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next chapter. Until then, stay safe and stay alive. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.